In this tutorial, we'll learn how to do a scatter plot, find a regression line, and the correlation coefficient using Microsoft Excel. So what we're going to do here is we're first going to have to highlight the data before we do any type of graph. So one of the ways to highlight this data is to hold the left mouse click on the top one here, and then drag down to the right until you reach the bottom right. If you're not good with the mouse, however, there is another way you could do this. If you click here and get the cell B1, then if you hold down the Shift key and click, again, I let go of the click here to get down here. If I hold the Shift key and click on cell C12, the 300 here, it'll automatically select both columns. Okay, so now we're ready to go to actually pick the scatter plot. Excel will treat the first column on the left here, or the order in which the columns are organized, as your X and your Y. So this is your input, output, other names might be explanatory, response. This could also be called the independent variable and dependent variable. So I'm going to try to see if the fat content can predict the total calories in, I believe this is McDonald's foods. So let's take a look at how I would do this. So up here at the top, I would click on Insert, and I'm going to click on Scatter Plot. So I'm going to pick the first one because that's the easiest, and just click OK. And notice how quickly Excel actually just draws the scatter plot. I'm going to kind of drag this out of the way so I have room to work. The next step's just a little bit tricky. I want to put a trend line on here so I can actually see the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left-click one of the data points. By doing that, I've selected all the data in this chart. Next, while I'm on top of one of the data points, I am going to right-click. Right-click then gives me this submenu, and I can do something called Add a Trend Line. Remember, this is selecting the data and then right-clicking to get the submenu. So if I add a trend line, hold on. Alright, minor technical difficulty. Excel had to restart itself. Not sure why. Okay, so if I want to add a trend line, what I did is I right-clicked again on the data. So over here. Let me get the data highlighted. Alright, you're not going to highlight this time. Let's see if I can get it highlighted. Let me close out of this trend line submenu so I can repeat the steps. So I'm going to go here, highlight the data, right-click on it, say Add Trend Line. Let's hope it doesn't crash this time. Yay! Alright, so now I'm going to scroll down, and what I want to display is the equation on the chart. I could display the R squared. That's called the coefficient of determination. It's not essential for this week's quiz, but I could. So here's my data right here. It's already popped up, and I have my equation. Notice that in the quiz I ask you to do it the other way. I say to give me the y-intercept, then the slope. So the y-intercept says about 194 calories if you have 0 grams of fat. The slope means that for every 1 gram of fat that's increased, the calories go up by about 12. R squared of 0.9499 represents, so that's like a 95% R squared. 95% of the variation in calories is due to or explained by the total fat in the content. So that's good correlation. Okay, so now I need to do the correlation coefficient. So to do that, I'm going to slide this chart out of the way. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to move this over. And underneath the columns here, I'm just going to do equal sign. Equal sign actually brings up functions, and I'm going to start typing CORREL, and then I'm going to open a parenthesis, and it's asking me for the first array. So I'm going to highlight this column of numbers. So 9 to 5, from 9 here all the way down to 5. Then I'm going to put a comma, so I'm going to press comma, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. That's my second, and notice there's 2 different colors. Now I'm going to end this by doing a close parenthesis and hit enter. And there's my correlation coefficient right there. If I want to trim down the decimals because you don't like to round, you can click up here and just go, whoops, the wrong way. And I can trim this down to 3 decimal places, or even 2, and it'll round everything properly. Alright, so that's how you would do this using Excel from scratch. I hope this helps.